Dale Earnhardt Jr., your leader. He's never won a race after starting lower than 13th, started 18th today. And let's take a look at our Koch family of drivers. Kurt Busch, who's won 3 of the last 4 races here in Bristol, 4th. Look at Dale Jarrett, who started 30th, up to 6th in the 88 car. As we look at some of the other drivers, Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart in the hunt as well. And there's a look at Jamie McMurray, who's moving into 4th from 5th. At one time, he was 28th. You also get a look at our leader.
Yeah, they really had a long weekend so far. They lost their primary car because of indiscretions with NASCAR, got involved in a wreck early on, and now he's moved his way all up to 4th. That's one to ring the bell for sure.
I'm so excited
right now. This is getting exciting right now.
And look at Dale Jarrett, right? Looking for his first win this year. He's had a rough start to things. DJ on the move. Definitely
so. He started way back here 30th, and he's going to put a move underneath Kurt Busch. And I think Kurt right now, all these guys have been on a long run so far. This, as a matter of fact, is the longest green flag run in over a year here in the spring race. So these guys are not used to going this distance here at Bristol.
Let's get some thoughts from Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip as we look at the long green flag run and the
pit stops getting ready to start.
Strategy here is going to be on the line.
It's a strategy. I think Larry brought it out earlier about the fact you don't want to be the guy making the first pit stop as far as short pitting is concerned and get caught in the pits, but you don't want to stay out on worn tires too long, do you, Larry?
No, and Jeremy Mayfield in the 19 car, remember, he's still on the lead lap. He's making his green flag stop on the backstretch. And remember, under green, if you're on the backstretch, you can enter turn 2, leave in turn 3. On the front stretch, enter turn 4, leave turn 1.
And we saw last year some veteran drivers, Jeff Gordon and Bill Elliott both, didn't remember that. And they went all the way around the track because they didn't come in the right side on the right side of their pits.
But even with that, you're still going to go at least 2 laps down, even if everything goes good. And the good thing now, and you don't anticipate it would go green the rest of the race, but if it should, they're in the window now when they make their green flag stop. They're set to go the rest of the race, should we not have that caution.
And the 01 just made that mistake, Larry.
McMurray, the 42 car, he's making his green flag stop.
Man, when you get down to 35 miles an hour, it think there's something wrong with the car. It comes off the racetrack, and it looks like it just woes up to nothing.
Here comes Kurt Busch in the 97 car, Greg Biffle in the 16 car, Steve Burns.
Jamie McMurray comes to pit road, Larry back. He's a little loose in, tight in the middle off. They'll take a half pound out of that left front tire. Dave Collins and Billy Kerwood changing tires. Dick Berggren.
Kurt Busch is in as well. Indeed, Larry McReynolds, you're right. Kurt Busch has been terrific on used old tires, but the car in comparison with other cars on fresh tires is not quite as good. So we'll see what happens.
Back straightaway, Dale Jarrett is in as green flag stops continue. Dale Jr., Rusty Wallace, Sterling Marlin, and Jeff Gordon, the front 4 now, stay out. Not too many takers in these first couple of laps.
No, and this, you know, right now you're just sitting there. This is when the crew chief has to sit on the hot stove and sweat ice water.
Matt Kenseth's in, Elliott Sadler's in, Kenny Schrader is in.
But the biggest thing these guys want right here, they want to make sure this thing cycles through these pit stops and don't get burnt by a caution, Dick Berggren.
Elliott Sadler has struggled with a car that has been tight all day long. They've been working on it on every pit stop. They'll work on it again, this time with air pressure. Elliott Sadler, what a thought.
Schrader's BAM Racing crew goes around to the right side as Mark Martin and Sterling Marlin gives up a top 3 spot to make his stop.
Now the cars that slowed down, they were running in the 17-second bracket. You come in and get tires on right now, you're going to be pretty fast. I wouldn't stay out there too long on old tires, Jeannie.
Yeah, those 2 tires were fun for a while, guys, but Sterling Marlin coming in saying, you know, I'll take 4 fresh ones this time, no adjustments.
He and Mark Martin, the only cars on pit road at lap 364. 136 to go. Ricky Craven comes in, and Michael Waltrip on the backstretch side. Still among the front 5, the only one who's been in has been Marlin.
And remember, he had about 20-25 laps more on his left side tires. He was definitely, I think, ready to come to pit road.
Jeff Gordon's in, gives up a top 5 spot.
You know, one thing I've noticed, when these guys are making these pit stops, they don't realize, I don't think, that they can charge. Once they get past the end of pit road down there, they can come up to speed. And a lot of them are still coming all the way around the corner before they realize that they need to go.
Steve.
Jeff Gordon in, he's tight in the middle, loose off, put 1 round in, they do that in the right rear. 4 tires for Jeff Gordon here on lap 367. Left side tires going on, good stop for Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Green, Kevin Harvick, Scott Riggs, Kyle Petty, and pole sitter Ryan Newman are in, along with Brendan Gaughan, Derek Cope.
See what I mean about Gordon? He's coasting around the inside of the racetrack. He ought to be coming up on the racetrack.
Look, he's on the front stretch pits. He made the same mistake a year ago, Matt.
Pole sitter Ryan Newman already in a wedge and track bar and air pressure adjustment on the 12 car. He was way too tight. Meanwhile, the 77 Brendan Gaughan, you can see him crank it, making a significant chassis adjustment on that 77 car. Trouble on the left rear, going to lose a few seconds here. 17 seconds for Brendan Gaughan.
Warren Burton is in. Tony Stewart 2 laps down because of a penalty. Make that a lap down on account of the penalty is in.
That's a huge mistake for Jeff Gordon. I talked to Robbie Loomis this morning, his crew chief, about picking on the backstretch. He said, well, we had a mistake last year coming in. That's another reason I chose back here. Well, the mistake was not coming in this time. It was going out.
Rusty's in.
Rusty Wallace on pit road.
Mike, a few moments ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. came on the radio and said, under green, that means I can pit coming off of turn 4, correct? And Tony Jr. said, that is correct. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the leader, making his way down pit road as Rusty Wallace is in. No changes again for Rusty Wallace. The last time they adjusted that race car during the final practice session on Saturday. Dale Jr. comes to a stop. Walt Smith's boys been practicing all week about having to get around obstacles, but no obstacles now on this green flag stop. A good solid stop as Kevin Tubular-Pennell hits the jack on the left side. Good stop. 14.1 seconds for the Bud guys.
All right, Terry Labonte's made his stop, and Johnny Sauter assumes the lead.
You know, physical and mental fatigue are two things that you battle at this racetrack more than anywhere else you go. And these mistakes coming in and out of the pits, it's just the driver has got his tongue hanging out right now.
Now who's going to have the lead is the guy that had to come to pit road to first under green because of a flat right front or a bad right front. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car, having those fresh tires, all those extra laps has paid off for him. Plus the biggest sigh of relief, we've cycled through the green flag stops for him.
So Jimmy Johnson is the race leader. Scott Wimmer has not yet stopped. He's now shown the second place car. Then Kurt Busch, Greg Biffle, Sterling Marlin. McDonald's drive-through pit crew championship standings among the teams that choose to participate. Kurt Busch leading after 5 races there. 125 to go in Bristol. Nextel Cup Racing on Fox, presented by Quaker State, is brought to you by Budweiser. It's time for a fresh one. Grab a Budweiser. The race is on.
Yeah, cover the 24 car.
We're under caution for contact between Derek Cope and the 4 of Kevin LePage.
Just got into him and lifted him up and turned him around.
Now Greg Biffle has come in, so has Elliott Sadler, Jimmy Johnson, Scott Wimmer, who was coming into pit when the caution came out, and he stays on the lead lap, Kenny Schrader and Dale Jarrett, along with Jeremy Mayfield and Kevin Harvick.
It's kind of bad break for the 48 car. Good news, bad news. Good news is you were the leader of the race, but now you got to come back in and get your tires. You're going to restart what, Larry, in about 15th, 18th place?
Well, I think what he has going for him, Darrell, he had 55 laps on his tires. We only have 15 cars on the lead lap. As Mike just documented, over half those cars came to pit road, so I think that's his saving grace.
Dick Bergman.
When the caution flag came out, Kurt Busch got on the radio and he said, I'm driving a 3-legged dog. It's snapping loose on the exit. Jimmy Fennick, his crew chief, told him come in. They decided what air pressure changes they were going to make. Then on his own, Kurt Busch decided that not enough cars had pitted and he decided to stay out. Fennick, furious on top of the box, although he never communicated his anger to his driver, Kurt Busch. Busch then got on the radio and said, Jimmy, I just got to keep track position. They have enough gas to go to the end, but they got a car that may not be as good as it might have otherwise been.
Well, that track position is going to be position 1, but what's good now may not be so good later.
Yeah, you know, a 3-legged dog. I had a dog, a 3-legged dog. His name was Arithmetic. He'd put down 3 and carry 1.
Roof. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Want to give him a bone?
Well, Mike, we've been hearing about adjustments all day here. One thing you've heard a lot is wedge in or wedge out. This is the wedge wrench that one of the mechanics will stick in through a hole in the rear windshield. They'll turn this wrench, this clockwise or counterclockwise. What that does is it changes or adjusts the weight from one corner of the car to the other. Think of it as a big X in that race car. So if they take weight off the right front, they're actually transferring weight to the left rear. And again, as Larry Mack said early in this race, it's a small adjustment here in Bristol because you can't adjust wedge too far.
That's our Sears Craftsman adjustment. Larry has more.
Yeah, let's show you with our animation here how wedge works. You know, you have wheel weights, and the total of those wheel weights have to weigh 3,400 pounds. Now, when you take wedge out, you're putting more weight on this right rear right here. You're going to see we're actually going to back off. So this is actually putting wedge in. So we're actually taking weight off the right rear and taking it off the left front. And you'll see by our scale numbers here, you'll see how these weights changes. It's going to add weight here and take it off, these two right here. And that's actually putting wedge in by backing off the right rear jack bolt.
The jet blowers trying to clear some of the rubber debris. And I'll tell you, the luckiest fellow right here was not Brendan Gaughan, who got the free pass, but this man, Scott Wimmer, trying to overcome a penalty. They had held him out as long as they could. He was on pit road when the caution came out. The team sent him back out and around, and he's able to stay on the lead lap also.